Maybe I should move closer. Hello everyone, today is May 2nd, I think. It is the first day of Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I went. So if you don't know me, if you're new here, my name is Kristen. I go by Knit and Craft online, and I am a knitter, spinner, crocheter sometimes, but I don't think I have done that in a while. I don't know. Just like a crafty person that likes to share what they're working on, what their thoughts are on the internet. So, it's like my digital diary that I can refer back to and kind of learn and grow as I progress my craft. So today I am going to be doing a normal podcast episode where I talk about my finished objects, my works in progress, and my future plans. But today is also a very special episode because this morning I attended the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. So I woke up around 5:30 a.m. I was out the door by 6:30 and picked up my mother-in-law. We went to Maryland Sheep and Wool, which is about like a 30-ish minute drive from us, so it's not very far. It's at the Howard Fairgrounds, and it's just a good time. So we're not mosiers. We kind of go with a game plan and we execute the game plan and we come home. And we always get there super early. So we got there at by the time my mother-in-law got in the car, and it was probably 7:15. So the actual festival doesn't start until 8:30. So we chilled in the car, we drank our coffee, whatever, and then we went and lined up. It was a little chilly this morning. This was all I was wearing. This is the Traveler by Andrea Mowry, and I knit this out of Wonderland yarns. I believe it's Mad Hatter is the base. It's the sport weight base, and I knit it in the color Too Much Pepper. And these strings are also Wonderland yarns, but this was our local yarn shop special colorway in 2022. So that's where I got this one. So yeah, I was wearing this and nothing else. It was about 50 or 55 degrees this morning with a gentle breeze. So it was a little chilly, but I was never freezing cold. And I feel like this was just the perfect thing to wear all day. It's also extremely comfortable. So, you can't go wrong there. So I wore this, and yeah, we had just a really lovely morning. And then around, I don't know, about 11:30, we decided we had seen and bought all we were going to do. And so we packed it up and came home. And, now it's noon-ish, and I'm already, back at my house. So that's really great. Please ignore the background. I know it's just alcohol, which I don't even drink, but we're in my living room right now because I just don't really feel like going in my office. And this is where I wanted to do the podcast from. So let's start, since it's already been 5 minutes since I started this video, with my finished object. I only have one, and that's a Door in the Sky socks. So this was round 4? Yeah, round 4 of Sock Madness. And this is what it looks like close up. So let's talk about these. Okay. They have not been blocked, so they do look quite insane, and they actually have been worn because they're quite comfortable. But it's a top-down sock. It starts out with this cuff. I believe it's a 3x1 rib, and then goes into this mock corrugated ribbing. So you knit one in the main color, which is my brown in this case, and then purl one in your contrasting color, knit one, and then you slip a stitch with no, you don't slip a stitch, but you bring the contrasting color to the front and have your float in the front, which is interesting. And you knit this in a mosaic style where you're dropping one yarn, knitting with just one color at a time. Then you move into this double knit portion. So just this panel right here is double knit, and you're creating these holes. So that's very interesting. The rest is just stranded knitting. And then you move on to a heel flap and gusset, which this kind of mirrors up here, but instead of purling, you're just knitting that color, the contrasting color. You have a line of contrasting color knits. Just standard heel flap and gusset. This heel turn itself is very wide, and it doesn't fit me particularly well. I do have a high instep, but my heel isn't very wide. So if I were to make these again, which I wouldn't, just spoiler, I would definitely decrease the number of stitches in this heel turn. And that's just for my preference. And then you carry on after the double knitting is done in the round stranded knitting, and that comes all the way through the toe. So, I mean, I'm sure you can tell by the vibes. I don't necessarily like these socks, but they were a competition knit, so I definitely wanted to knit them. I pleasantly I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked the pattern itself. I thought the pattern was extremely well written. I thought every decision that the designer made sense. And for me, that means I'm going to rate this pattern a 4.75 out of 5. The only thing I didn't like about the pattern was the formatting of the pattern itself. It wasn't hard to read. I just didn't like it, which is why the pattern is not going to get a 5. Now my execution is going to get a 3. I didn't do a great job. One, I picked yarns that were thick. And I did that on purpose because I knew that these were going to be a little bit tight, but I didn't mean to do exactly what I did. So this brown is the same color that I knit my pressed flowers cardigan out of, and it is Jill Draper Make Stuff Barstow in the color Black Walnut. Now this cream color, which you can see inside of these buttonholes, is actually Miss Babs Killington in the color White Peppercorn. Now I did not mean to pick a DK weight yarn to do this, and by the time I noticed it was a DK, it was too late. I was not going to rip back, but I really meant to pick up Sweet Georgia Tough Love Sock in the color Birch, which is nearly identical in color to this. And it's a thicker fingering. I would say it leans towards the sport weight. And I did not pick that up. I picked up the Killington, which is definitely a DK, and I should have noticed, but I just didn't. So this is my Adore in the Sky socks. I am happy that these are over. These are done. I'm moving on. But I would say that if you like the way these look, if you like this buttonhole detail, then you should 100% knit these because it's a really well-written pattern. Now, I don't have any other finished objects. I haven't really been knitting. I haven't really been doing much. I've been doing a lot of doom scrolling lately, which is not great, but it's just what's happening right now. I've slowed down on the Pocopia, not really playing my Switch much. I've probably just been having some kind of late nights at work, so that's obviously cuts into my knitting time. But I will show you what I've been working on. So something that you've seen repeatedly for the last couple months is my coming soon sweater. So I will show you what we have here. I have picked up for one of the sleeves, and I've gotten, I don't know, what is that, 2 inches of arm done. And since the last time you guys saw this, I knit this much. So maybe that's another 2 inches probably. Yeah, so that's about 2 inches. It's coming along. Obviously, I can't wear this anymore. It's way too warm outside here. Between 50 and 90 degrees, depending on the day. You just never know what you're going to get here. So I've slowed down considerably on this. but I'm really excited to have it. I love this yarn. I think it's so lovely. I love a woolen spun, and I love a densely knit woolen spun even more so. So this is my coming soon sweater, and I hope that it actually is going to be coming soon because I've been knitting on this for months and I want it off my needle. So I'm going to start prioritizing this as soon as I finish my next project. So this is my Anacortes Pullover, and I'm going to try and get this so it doesn't look crazy. Okay. Here we go. And it's pulling it. So, okay. You can really tell where it's been. It wasn't really blocked, but it was washed up at the top. And that happened because it accidentally went for dip in the beef short ribs we were having for Easter. So it had greasy beef fat all over it and it had to get washed. So I washed it. I was scrubbing it, and then I just threw it outside to dry because I just could not be bothered. I didn't even know if it was like salvageable because it was so beefy. And like it was like, it's short ribs. So there's like beer and, well, the way I make my short ribs, there's beer, there's Guinness, there's, beef stock, and there's tomato paste. So it's like tomato, beef fat. Oh, it was terrible. It was so awful. But I seem to have gotten it all out. It was mostly this sleeve that was affected. And I don't think you can tell at all. So the top part does look completely different from the bottom part. Now, I don't know if this is going to be long enough for me. I have put it on and I just can't really tell what is right for me. It's going to have about 1 to 0 inches of positive ease, which I'm totally okay with for a summer knit. And this will be like a transitional piece for me. I'll mostly wear it in the spring or the fall. And on this one, I have picked up for a sleeve, and I had about 2.5 inches knit on this sleeve, but I didn't like the way it was looking. So I pulled it out and realized that I had read the instructions wrong, and I wasn't continuing this under the arm pattern up into the sleeve. I had just started the pattern, this broken rib pattern. And I decided, okay, it's only a couple inches. I'm just going to rip it back. So that's what I did. If this needs to be longer, I am going to, if this needs to be longer, I'm just going to cut the bind off because I did do an Italian bind off. And I'm going to immediately rip the ribbing, I think, instead of just like cutting it, trying to graft it back together. I'm just going to take out the ribbing because it's only about 1.25 inches and lengthen it a couple inches. It'll probably need 1 or 2 inches, but I really want to see how it wears first before I do that because I do like my summer shirts to be a little cropped. So this is the Anacortes Pullover, and I hope to have this done very, very soon. As soon as I finish this, I'm going to attempt to finish my coming soon sweater. Oh, there's 2 hawks. That's super cool. If I can get a good picture of them, I will show it to you because they're incredible. All right, so that's all I'm working on right now. I desperately want to cast something on, but I'm going to make myself finish this first because I'm a good girl. Okay, so now we can move into acquisitions because I did go to Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I did buy things while I was at Maryland Sheep and Wool. The first thing that I have to share is this Jacob sheep. So it's 3 ounces of Jacob sheep, and I have never spun Jacob before. So I just liked that this was 3 ounces of 1, something I've never spun before, and 2, all of the natural colors of the sheep. Now we have a local person who raises Jacob sheep and is always selling their fleece for really, really cheap on like Facebook Marketplace. I'd never tried the breed before, so it was always hesitant to buy that, especially because I don't have a way to like card it and prepare the fiber. But if I like this, I will consider buying carders, like hand carders, and then maybe graduating into a carding the wheel. I can't, drum carder, sorry. The words were escaping me. So I did get this 3 ounces. We'll see how this fiber splits. If it's an ounce, I will just do a 3-ply with all of these in it and just have 3 ounces of something for maybe gloves, which I think would be really, really sweet. So this was the first thing I got. Now, I did buy a sweater's quantity of yarn. It's black, no shock there. And I bought this from Utopia. So they are calling this a light DK. It's 100% blue face Leicester wool. So BFL, my favorite. So it's 100% BFL. It's 265 yards for 113 grams. And it was $26 this game, which I thought was very reasonable. Let me show it to you up close. And I was able to get 8 skeins of this. Oops. Yay! I got 8 skeins of this for the Lanark for Mr. Craft. So I'm really excited to work with this. It feels great. I love BFL. It's no shock that I bought BFL. But I wanted something that was not merino for his quarter zip because he's just a little bit harder on things. And this feels like very sturdy, just a very sturdy wool. It has a nice ply to it. So when I work with the BFL from West Yorkshire Spinners, which I love, there's no issues with that. It has quite a bit of a halo to it, and it feels a little bit more fragile. And it has to do with the way that they spin it and probably their sheep that they use. But in this case, this feels very substantial. And it being a light worsted versus a DK, I'm going to be able to play with the gauge a little bit on that. And I don't know. I'm just extremely excited to work with this. So this is going to be for the Lanark for Mr. Craft. Now, if I cast this on and I'm like, this is the most incredible thing I have ever felt, and I don't want to give this to him, I will just rip it out and cast on a size for me, because I also would like a Lanark. So I'm really excited on this. I got a little bit over 2,000 yards just to be on the safe side. And then the final thing that I got was from, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say who this was from. Swayze Inn Farm from Hope, New Jersey. And then I went to a booth called Blue Fields Farm from Madison, Virginia, and they had the most incredible BFL silk I have ever felt. It has so much silk in here. It is so, so lovely. I hope that the camera's doing this justice. So I got 6 ounces of this, and I have no clue what I'm going to do with it, but I could not pass this up. It was so nice. And I love spinning with silk. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's something that I just really, really enjoy. And 6 ounces of this beautiful fiber was $39. So I was going home with it, and I'm so happy I did. And all of that was in my Maryland sheep and wool bag. Now, this is not the bag from this year. I think this is 2 or 3 years old, and it's my favorite bag ever. It's just a canvas tote, but not only does it have a sheep on it, it's got a puppy. And we all know that I absolutely adore my golden retriever Nala, so this reminds me of her every time I take it out. And it's just such a good big bag. All of this fit in there, no problem. Life stuff, nothing's really going on. I've really been trying to get my garden in order. I still haven't planted my carrots. I'm like a month and a half late on that. But you know what? That's what I'm going to go do right now. So I'm going to go plant my carrots, my lettuce, my spinach. My herbs are all coming up. My strawberries came back. My blueberries came back. My raspberries came back. So, you know, good things are happening over here. I don't know what the next thing I'm going to cast on is. I would really like to start my Palm Springs tank. And I'm going to use my Knitting for Olive merino cotton merino. Can't remember which way it goes. And I'm going to cast that on relatively soon. I think that's going to be my next cast on. But I would also love to start the Lanark. And look at the little logo. I just think that's so cute. So I'm just really excited. I feel like I'm slogging through the projects I have, not that because they're not enjoyable, but just because I feel like I've mentally moved on for them. I'm excited to have them, but like they've been on my needles for quite a bit of time. Next week should be round 5 of Sock Madness. I don't know if it'll start today, tomorrow, or Monday, but I imagine it will happen in that realm of time. Maybe even Tuesday if they're going to take some time off. I don't know if next round we go down to 1 week, but I think that's what happens as the time frame gets shorter. And I will welcome that because I'm like ready to be done with Sock Madness, but I'm super duper competitive, so I'm not going to bow out until I get forced out. And yeah, so that's what's going on with me. Please let me know what's going on with you. Are you knitting? Are you gardening? Are you doing something else? Like crochet, weaving, spinning? I think seeing all of this beautiful sheep and, you know, roving and everything, they had locks. Oh my gosh, so many locks. And they had full fleeces. But this is just getting me excited for spinning. I have a ton of fiber. I did not need to buy fiber. I did not want to buy fiber, but I saw both of these and I needed them. So I think I've kind of got bit by the spinning bug, and you'll see a lot more spinning coming from me. I still have that merino silk on my wheel right now, and I think I have 4 ounces done, and I think I have 8 ounces to go. So I'll probably finish that first, and then I would love to start moving into some natural fibers that I haven't tried, like this Jacob. I have a Romeldale that I have not, a Romeldale and a Cordale. Both I've not spun with before. So I'd like to get those on the wheel soon. And yeah, I'm just excited about what's to come. So please tell me what you're working on, what you're doing, what's your craft of choice right now. I'm also making paper stars, like a crazy amount of paper stars, for no apparent reason, but it's just like something that I've been doing to like regulate my emotional system, and it's really working. Like I feel very relaxed when I make my paper stars. Yeah, so thank you for hanging out with me on this fine Saturday, absolutely lovely Saturday here in Maryland, and I hope that you are doing well wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.